you heard about what I ain't heard. I don't agree. I did it first. I didn't fuck. I just won't fuck. Eat, sleep, love, happy. Can you make me happy? Can you keep me happy? Can you distract me from all the disaster? Can you touch on me and not call me after? Can you hit on me and let's give it laughter? Can you leave me to the after? Hi. This is my first time doing this, so I was just gonna like wait and let people load in. Thank you. I'm listening to the new SZA. Do you guys like SZA? Like, fun fact, hi. The only concert that I've ever been to alone was a SZA concert. And I went when she had first released the album. That was like almost 5 years ago. And last night she put out SOS, and it's so good. Hello, everyone. This is already more people than I had anticipated. And also, let me pause the music. I should share that I'm recovering from the flu. So if I'm coughing throughout this, I'm pretty much healed. But yeah, I might be hacking up along here or there. But it's so good, isn't it? She did not disappoint. And I'm like, have done my best trying not to like read any reviews or see anyone else's opinions about the album. I really want to like give my own opinion. And yeah, I'm so happy that you guys are joining. I want to like try to do different things next year, and like one of them is just connecting more in real time. So I thought I would like test out a live stream before the end of the year, and I'm so grateful that you guys have taken the time to stop by. But I guess we can just like get into it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. I made a little like breakdown of how I want the time to flow so that I'm not just staring at you guys. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Angelique. It's nice to see you. Or nice to see your name pop up. I can't see you. But my name is Misako Envela. I'm assuming you're here because you watch my videos. Thank you so much for taking the time this Friday to join in on my first ever live stream. I'm coming to you live from Mexico City, where I've been recovering and living for the past 2 years now. It was actually 2 years in November, so over 2 years now. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever really given an introduction about myself on my channel, but if you guys are interested, I can share a little about who I am. I'm just gonna do it. I'm from Los Angeles. I was born and raised there, but I went to high school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Fun fact. So I have a little bit of East Coast in me. And then, hi, it's so nice to see people coming in. I literally was like, if one person shows up, I'll be happy. And to see 16 people makes me so grateful. So thank you. So yeah, I went to high school in Pittsburgh, did a brief stint at the University of South Florida, and then I transferred to FIDM, which is the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising downtown in LA, lived there for, I think that was what, like 6-7 years. And then I did a little bit of traveling, realized I really wanted to see what life was like outside of the US. And thank you, Ambitious Panda. And yeah, and so during the pandemic, I like went through a really tough breakup. But at the same time, I realized there was really nothing holding me back in LA. Like auditions had stopped. I was auditioning. Like I wanted to be on TV at one point, still do, but I realized I'm probably not going to get there through the traditional audition route. So auditions had paused. My relationship was no longer, and I was working on a show at the time, and that had stopped. So I was like, I could really work from anywhere right now. And I was initially wanted to really live in Japan. Obviously, their borders closed. I was going to move to Bali. Their borders didn't open. And then Playa del Carmen came up on my radar. I started there, and then I came to Mexico City 2 months later, and it's been the most beautiful love story. And I started making videos like I've made videos since I was pretty young, but I've always had jobs working behind the scenes for other creators. Hi, Sierra. And so I would make my little videos here and there, but I would say I started taking it seriously like right before I left LA and started being consistent on my platforms the way that I was with all of the platforms and people that I had worked for. And then when I moved to Mexico was like when I got a little bit of traction because I was creating videos. Another Sierra, hi Sierra. Because I was creating videos about life in Mexico, and I was creating videos about Mexico during a time. Hi, oh wow. I was just in the snow for a little bit, and I have so much respect for people who live in the snow. But as I was saying, I was creating videos about Mexico during a time, hola, when during a time when I think people were looking for women, solo women, specifically Black women living outside of the US. And so I just like continued sharing what I had learned and little things here and there, and it seemed to work. So I'm actually, I started this live stream because I would love your input on what you'd like to see next. But that's a little background on me, why I started creating content. And oh, can you guys hear me? Please say you can hear me. Oh, you have to have been able to hear me because I was playing music before. Oh no. Okay, great. um, and what I hope to achieve through my videos is like at the core level, I just want people to look at my stuff, look at me, see where I've come from, which you will learn more about in my podcast and everything I've been through, and really believe that you can do whatever it is you desire. I think that's like at the core, that's what I want people to achieve through my videos, whether that's like living in a new place, whether that's just being a creator, whether that's traveling on your own. I really want people to watch my videos and feel like empowered to do whatever it is that they want. And so I hope that's what you've gained so far. And yeah, I wanted to spend a little time introducing myself and then open the floor up for a Q&A. If there's anything you'd like to learn about me that I haven't talked about. And I know a lot of people who watch my channel watch it because they're looking for Mexico content. So if you have questions about my life in Mexico City or anything I can offer advice on, maybe for like the next few minutes, we can just chat. So let me know if you have any questions. And hello, everyone that's joined. 21 people. That is still way more than I had envisioned, especially because it's Friday. People might be working or doing other things. So thank you to everyone who has taken the time to join my first live stream. I'm so happy that you're here. But yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat and we can get going. Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so like anytime anyone tells me that I'm one of their creators or I like end up in someone's top creator roundup, it just really blows my mind because there's so many people to watch on the internet and I'm like, me? Thank you. Okay, first question is from Angelique. How is it going as an entrepreneur in Mexico? So if we're being really, so I left my job 2 months ago. Was it 2 months or like last month was my first month as a full-time content creator. And to be honest, it doesn't feel super real yet because I haven't really made much money off of this, like not that I think you have to make money to be an artist or to be whatever it is you want. But for me, it doesn't feel like a big shift because it's not like a bunch of opportunities are coming in. But I am grateful for the time to like sharpen my craft. I don't know if you know this, if you follow me on TikTok, I shared that I joined a filmmaking program. I know in the beginning of the year, or maybe it was last year, I said I wanted to get into a filmmaking school. I'm doing a 4-month program with a female filmmaker, and it's been really good for me. It's super challenging. I think also just with the way that I learn, it's highlighting a lot of difficulties that I have, but I am loving it. I'm so grateful. All in all, it's been really good. But yeah, I don't feel like an entrepreneur because I'm not like profiting. Hopefully soon I will have like brand deals and more opportunities. But for now, I kind of just feel like I'm still figuring a lot of things out. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm giving you guys some energy because, like I said, I had the flu, and I just like seeing people in here is energizing me. I feel like I'm healing on the live. Yes, I'm still in Mexico, still in Mexico City. Mexican recipes that I've tried or loved, to be honest. One of my goals for this year was to like learn how to cook more because I live alone, cook for myself, and it's typically just like tofu scramble, quinoa bowl, like pasta, salad, super simple vegan things. But I want to get into a cooking class. So like the most I've made is like sopes, tacos, really like basic stuff. But I would love to learn how to make a really good vegan pozole. So I will check back in with you when I have mastered that. Also, I have a question. Would anyone be interested in seeing videos in Spanish? My Spanish is improving. I've been, learning since before I moved here. And it's something that I want to do, but I'm so nervous about not even just about being judged, but just about like, I get so nervous when I speak Spanish. But if that's something you're interested in, I would definitely do videos in Spanish. And thank you. I think my energy will bring opportunities as well. It might just take some time. Were you scared to leave your job? I'm leaving mine in 2 weeks after 20 years. Wow. Financially, I'm good, but nervous about being unemployed and the perception. I would say the like, I wasn't nervous, but it was like so many years of like doing what I do for myself for other people that I was just ready to do it for myself. But I know that that might not be the case for everyone. Like I basically, this job is the job that I've had for a while, just not doing it full time for myself. So I felt like I had the practice, but I understand if you're working in a completely different field and leaving your job, that might not be the case. I think like, you've been loyal to this company for 20 years and you've earned this moment. Who cares what people think? Like having a job is not an entire identity. And so like if people are going to judge you because you're no longer associated with a certain company or title, those aren't people that you even want to be associated with. So I would say congratulations to you for being able to like work so hard at a place for 20 years and for reaching this moment where you can finally take time for yourself. So I think that's incredible and such an accomplishment, something to be celebrated. And thank you. I think I'm on the up and up as far as healing, and I'm so glad that you guys are in this live stream. I definitely want to do more of this. I know I'm not the best at comments, but in real time and talking, I can do it. Oh, congratulations, Angelique, on small business classes. I think like what I've learned through this filmmaking course is just like education does not ever have to stop. And you can find something that works for you that isn't necessarily a college or a school. It could be like an online course or a one-on-one thing, whatever works. It's so amazing to continue to be able to learn. And yeah. Yes, Ramon, I actually have a series idea for, well, not just for Mexico, but I do want to travel more outside Mexico or around Mexico and show more. I was watching my Tasco video, in my Sayulita video, and I was like, wow, I really miss this. And I think right now I'm learning how to capture things in like the most cinematic way possible because I do really want to be a filmmaker and learn how to capture other people and myself in like just a really artistic way. And I feel like I cannot wait to take these skills that I'm learning in this course out into the real world and show you guys more of Mexico because it's more than just Mexico City. It's such a beautiful country with beautiful people and history and culture and food, and I just can't wait. Okay. It looks like there are a couple votes for videos in Spanish, so that will be coming soon, but please be patient with me because I be speaking comprehend a lot. I had a Reiki session that changed, like recorded it because I wanted to share it with my friend who speaks like fluent Spanish and make sure I didn't miss anything. The Reiki session was incredible. I was crying. She was crying. She had her hand on my heart like this, and it was fully in Spanish, and I understood like 90% of it. It was like the most compassionate, loving experience. I felt like she was like a motherly figure to me. She actually messaged me and asked me if I wanted to meet with her today, but I'm sick and I don't want to get her sick. So I said no. But Gabby has hands of magic. Okay, I got votes for the Spanish videos. They're coming. Yeah, I would say like the biggest hurdle in learning a new language, and it's definitely been the biggest hurdle for me, is like getting over the nerves. And I feel way more comfortable speaking Spanish to someone who doesn't speak any English at all than I do with people who speak both. Like when someone else doesn't speak English, we're gonna figure this out together. And I don't feel like the pressure to be perfect, but when someone speaks perfect English and perfect Spanish, I just get so nervous. So yeah, but that's not an excuse not to speak it, and it's not an excuse not to try. Let's see, I'm looking for more questions. Oh, Gordon, I hope you're doing well. There is room for you. There is room for all of us. My favorite little like saying I heard in Lavia Jaye and Yvonne Orji's podcast, I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but they're talking about this feeling of like, oh my God, there's not enough room for me. And I've shared this so many times, but they say if you ever feel like there's not enough room for you, go to the water aisle. Go to the water aisle and see how people have been able to bring a bunch of different brands of water to life and like realize that there is room for you in your project, your perspective, your art. And that, I don't know, I've heard that in so many different ways, but that really clicked for me. Maybe because I'm a water connoisseur. But like there is enough room for us. And I've been feeling so much self-doubt about this podcast. Like, oh my God, there are so many podcasts out there. What's going to make mine special? Does the world need this? And then I remember that quote and I'm like, if just one person needs it, then it is worth it. And I know that it was something that I needed when I was going through everything with my family. And I've never shared this before, but my podcast name is We're Going to Get Through This, because I was going through a really, really, really difficult time. And I was like lying in this hotel room, just like praying that there is something I could listen to that would help me believe that me and my family were going to get through this tough time. And as soon as I got out of it, I was like, that is the podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, but I just didn't feel like I knew what I wanted to contribute to that space yet. And so through that dark, dark time, I came up with the idea. Thank you. Angelique said, how did you begin building my aesthetic? To be honest, I feel like my aesthetic is constantly evolving. I just try to create like what, since the beginning, I've really tried to craft my own style and not try to put an image out there that wasn't really me. I never wanted to like feel like I had this mask online. I wanted you guys to see all of me and like what I like visually. And I don't know, I just have been creating from my heart. And when you do that, I think an aesthetic naturally forms versus like trying to like I've tried to stick to color palettes and stuff before, but that never really worked for me. And I realized just like creating from like here and sharing how I really feel in the moment and not trying to be too like calculated, my aesthetic just kind of crafted itself. I'm trying to be more thoughtful about like how I put things together, because I think sometimes I can come off as sloppy because it's not as like it's really not thought out at all. Um, but I don't know if that answers your question, Angelique, but just creating from the heart and letting the aesthetic come together on its own and then fine tuning it after. Does that make sense? I don't know. Oh, no. Okay. Tell us more about your self-development journey and the spirituality. You seem so evolved and balanced. Wow, best compliment I've ever received. What is my self-development journey? This is a really good question. Well, I don't know if anyone has ever asked me this. It's a wonderful question. I'm trying to figure out how to answer. Well, I started therapy in like 2019 or 2018. It was probably 2018. Because I had gotten into my first ever relationship and I wanted to like really be the best version of myself while I was in this relationship. And then I realized like, oh my gosh, all of the things that I had buried deep down and all of the like childhood trauma and things that I thought that I had dealt with that I hadn't, I just pushed them down. And so I feel like my self-development journey has been just trying to heal my relationship with my inner child, like be kinder to my inner child, heal my relationship with myself, accept myself as I am. And it's an ongoing thing every day, especially like with dating and things. I feel like I'm constantly feeling like I'm not enough. I'm never chosen. I'm not like all of those thoughts that a lot of us deal with. And so I think my entire self-development journey is just rooted in believing that I am enough as I am, which I got tattooed here in Mexico, that I am enough as I am, that I don't have to change myself to be accepted by anyone, specifically like a lover. And that like the things that happened to me when I was younger don't define who I am and they weren't my fault, because I feel like I carry a lot of like shame. I used to, and I've talked about this in videos before, with like the things that I dealt with as a child and as a young adult, and just like realizing that that's not me. And so yeah, um, I'm not balanced all the time. You said that I seem evolved and balanced. I'm not balanced all the time, definitely not. I think I just like experienced a lot at a really young age and had to grow up really quickly, and have had to just like learn how to deal with a lot of different emotions. And maybe that's why. And I also just love learning from people. Like my favorite form of education is like sitting down and having a conversation with someone, and you learn a lot about emotions and life through that. So maybe that's why I could sit and talk for hours. I'm more of a listener, actually, sit and listen for hours. So yeah. I try to set Spanish goals. Like I'm pretty sure that I can lead. Ooh, that is a really good. Mellow Vibe said like setting little language learning goals. Yeah, I need to do that because I get overwhelmed very easily, and I need to like set micro language learning goals. Why not? You do that with everything else. It's a really good idea. Thank you for that suggestion. Water aisle. If you came in late, I was talking about lip gloss. I was talking about if you ever feel like there's not enough space for you or your idea or your art, just go to the water aisle and look at all of the different brands of water that people have been able to like bring to life. And if they can do that, then you can bring your idea to life and there is enough space for you. And that's a thought that I always come back to when I'm feeling really like discouraged about like my channel or just my place in this digital world. I just remember the water aisle. And if you guys are all here, then I'm grateful. And yeah. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on the questions. Ooh, can you make a Q&A video on things you like and dislike about Mexico? Maybe I do like a Q&A video where I ask people to ask me questions about Mexico and I can talk about that in there. But that's a really good idea. Let me make a note of this. Q&A Mexico video, likes and dislikes. Also, I want to be like very transparent. I know that a lot of people found me through my Mexico content, but I think I paused a little on like doing like how to do this in Mexico and how to find this and how to do that, because if you're familiar with like what's going on in Mexico City, a lot of people are moving here and people have a lot of different emotions about it. And I was afraid that maybe I was fueling that fire in a negative way. And so I kind of pulled back on those videos. Like I recently put one out that was like things that you should know, because I was like, well, people are coming here anyways. Maybe I can contribute by sharing these tips. But I was just worried that like maybe a local would see my video and feel upset that I was making this stuff attracting, not like I have this cute, huge pull, but attracting more people here. And so I was kind of like, let me wait and see how people feel about this video. And it didn't get a negative response. So I think that I can go back to it. But yeah, that's why I kind of paused, because I was like, I don't want my videos to like upset anyone. And I want to make sure I'm respecting people's wishes. Yes, I am a poor, sick baby, but I am feeling better. I'm telling you, a week ago, yeah, it was a week ago, or last Wednesdays when I started feeling sick. I've never had a flu like that before. It wasn't COVID. I tested negative, but the flu had me thinking that I was like not going to make it. I was so weak. Please protect yourself out there. Ooh, I love this. Someone said, I'd love to hear you talk about the Ikigai concept on your podcast. I definitely will. If those of you who aren't familiar, I've talked about Ikigai before. This was my third tattoo. And it's basically just like this Japanese concept that means your reason for being. It's the intersection between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And like the overlap of all those things is your Ikigai. And yeah, it's like we don't actually have a word that's a direct translation for it in English. Like we have a few words, but we don't have one word like Ikigai. And I just think it's so beautiful. And I think a lot of us are living the like what we're good at, what we can get paid for part of it, but not like the what the world needs or what we really love part. So yeah, and that was part of the reason I wanted to move to Japan, because I learned about this concept and like blue zones in all the different parts of the world. And Okinawa in Japan is one of those blue zones, and it's because a lot of the people that live there have an ikigai. Also, a blue zone is, I don't know if I just said this, my ADD, are places in the world where there's some of the longest living people in the world. And so Okinawa was one of them, and it's just because like people feel like they can contribute to their communities. And I also learned in this book, I read The Happiness Equation. That's where I initially learned about it, and then I read an book on Ikigai. But I learned that like retirement is really not great for us because we stop using our brains, we stop feeling like we have a purpose in the world, and that is like what slowly actually causes us to deteriorate, is just like stopping everything. And in Okinawa, they don't. Like it's not like big strenuous jobs, but like little things like I bring the crafts to the community center, like give people a reason to get out of bed in the morning, you know? Okay. So that's my Ikigai rant, but I'll definitely talk about it in my podcast. And then dating. Oh, I could talk for days about dating. Dating is better in Mexico City or LA for women. Well, I never dated when I lived in LA, ever. I maybe went on one or two dates but I didn't date when I lived there. Mexico City is 10 times better for dating because just the sheer fact that it's a walkable city, I will die on this hill, makes it so easy for you to meet people because you're moving through the city and surrounded by people at all times. In LA, you're like in your car or in the bus or in the train, and you're just like so isolated that it makes it really hard to organically meet people, which is why a lot of people in those cities are on apps. But in LA and other cities like that, but like Mexico City, I feel I'm just constantly meeting people out. I did go on the apps here because I was like, well, I just want practice dating, and this is a quick way to set a date up. But and maybe it's because I'm at a point in my life where like I'm a little more confident, and because dating makes me really nervous. But I will say I've had more opportunities to date here than I ever did in LA. And it's more fun. And you're meeting people from so many different parts of the world. It's just like, it's great. So I would definitely say it's better in Mexico City, and all of my friends feel this way as well, for women and for men. Yeah, dating in SoCal, it just wasn't for me. And I just felt like I kept encountering a lot of people. And I do think I still have this experience that just like never want to settle down. And like, especially in LA where we're surrounded by like supermodels and actors, like guys or girls, like they just want to live in this like play world forever, which is great, but it just wasn't in alignment with what I wanted. And I felt like I could never find someone to take me seriously. I'm still struggling with that, to be honest. Still struggling with that, but I do feel like I have a better chance here than I ever did in LA. Hi, Jocelyn. How are you? Okay. South-facing windows for the win. Amazing light. Thank you. I know. I'm like so grateful for this seat here. Damon, who just launched his, actually don't know if he launched it yet, but I think some of you found me through my friend Damon Dominique. He is launching a Spanish course today. He's been staying here. Literally, stuff is everywhere, which is why I brought it up, because he's been sitting here working on his Spanish course, and he launched it today. He is, oh my God, an incredible friend, an even better teacher. And yeah, if you're looking to invest in something for yourself for the new year, his Spanish course is out or should be out soon. Hello from Qatar. That's crazy. Hello. Whenever someone shares that they're from like a part of the world that I've never been to, I'm always like, wow. Have you ever read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle? Tolle, I believe. I have started that book so many times. I love it, but I have never finished it. Maybe I need to like, I have Audible now. Maybe now would be a good time to like put it on Audible. I think that he's like an incredible philosopher. Speaking of Damon, his favorite book of all time is Bibles and New Earth, which I also believe is by Eckhart Tolle, which has been on my list. Would you consider doing collaborations with other YouTubers? And if yes, do you have anyone in mind? I actually just did a collaboration with my friend Amy. That's the dating video on my channel. I would love to collaborate with other YouTubers. I think I need to do a better job at reaching out. I have this like, fear because my channel is really small that people that don't know me won't actually want to collaborate with me. So I'm trying to wait till my channel is a little bigger and I have like something more to offer to reach out to people for collaborations. But maybe I just need to find people in Mexico City that are my size. I'm gonna make a note of this, Mexico City collaborations. Because I would love to collaborate with like Mexican YouTubers. Yeah. Do you think you'll ever move back to the US? To be honest, like right now, my answer is no. With the state of like the US, I just don't ever see myself wanting to live there again, but all my family's there. And, eventually I do want to go back and like take care of my mom when that time comes, or maybe I'll move her here. But I have no desire to move back to the US. And I think if I ever did, to be honest, I would move to Miami. I went there for a trip with Damon. He invited me for this influencer trip that he got a +1 on, and I loved it. It felt super like multicultural. Did not feel like I was in the US. Everyone was speaking to me in Spanish, which I really loved. Yeah. Every time I go back to LA, I'm just like, I don't know if I could do this again. But my mom just moved back there. And so I might feel differently, you know, when I get her a house. That's like my number one goal. Like have a home there and my sister out there. Like maybe. As of now, no. I got my visa renewed for 3 more years in Mexico, and then I can get permanent residency. I'm in Mexico for the long haul. But I have been thinking about Italy. Like, I don't know if I could ever live there, but ever since I watched From Scratch, I was like, I need to go to Italy and find my Italian lover and have a beautiful story just like them. So, yeah, but I don't know if I would ever live there. We'll see. Never say never. Oh my gosh. I really want to be honest and say every time I know that I don't always respond, but like every time you guys leave, thank you, Victoria, like a loving comment or thing in the chat or just anything, it really like warms my heart in ways you will never understand. It just I can't put it into words. Like I feel so like hard on myself about the stuff I put out there and I really want to make a positive impact and for you to feel good while you watch it. And when you tell me that you do, it just makes it all worth it. It makes it all worth it. So thank you. And your messages and comments, like they're not lost on me. I read them. I just have ADHD and sometimes it takes me a long time to respond to things. But I'm grateful and I thank you for it's motivation for me. Oh my gosh, Sierra used to live in Okinawa. Beautiful people with so much vitality, and of course, a gorgeous place too. I'm so jealous. I would love to get there. Japan is on my list. They're back open now, I believe. Yeah, and that is on my list for next year. If I go nowhere else but Japan, I will have succeeded. What are my goals for dating? I would like to meet like a life partner. I don't necessarily have dreams of marriage. I don't know if I want to ever be married. I know that I don't want children. Um, but if I could meet someone to like share beautiful moments with and travel with, like, wow, that would be great. But I've never been a relationship girl. I've been in one my whole life, maybe 1.5 if you consider this long distance one I was in a while ago. But I don't have a lot of relationship experience. I might get in one and realize this isn't for me. But right now, I would love to have a partner. Yeah. Jo is, yes, she will definitely be in my videos again. I love her. She's just, we don't live in the same place. She's in the UK. But she's creating and in film school and making magic and she has a podcast too. So you might not see her on YouTube, but she's uploading regularly on Spotify and all the other places that you listen to. She was in my first Misako in Mexico video because she was visiting me here, but she hasn't been back and I haven't been to Europe. So I need to go visit her. It's even more motivation. Oh my gosh. Someone's here in Nairobi. From Nairobi. Welcome, Simi. Yeah, I know that like just because you live in a walkable city, it might not necessarily mean that you'll meet someone you want to date. I just mean for myself personally, I felt like I wasn't interacting with people at all. And so living in a walkable city, I think, has opened me up more to people, but doesn't always necessarily mean you'll meet someone. I agree. Oh, okay. Victoria said, if you haven't read Power of Now, I would actually recommend A New Earth instead. Both, of course, are great, but A New Earth flows better, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's why I kept stopping The Power of Now. Like, I kept getting stuck on these, like, big concepts, and I'd have to, like, stop. And then it just became harder and harder to pick the book back up. But I'm telling you, like, Damon talks about The New Earth. Like, that is, like, the greatest thing he's ever read. It is the greatest thing he's ever read. So A New Earth will be, maybe I'll do that before I go back to Power of Now. Oh my God. I just got chills. You and Damon have quite the fan base over here. My friends and I have been obsessed with you guys for years. That is crazy. Qatar, I'm coming. Thank you so much. I'm like, how did the videos end up there? But I think Damon makes videos from all over. And then I think if you watch Damon's videos, you're probably served my videos. So that makes sense. And we've done a collab before and I've been in his stuff, but it's so funny. I wish that we lived in the same place so that we could have like a little collective and make videos all the time, but just got to save my coin and travel more. Italian lover. Yes, I'm so serious about that. But we could do an entire live about from scratch though. Like, have I ever cried harder in my life? No, I haven't. I was taking my braids out, weeping on the floor right there. And I was watching it there. I haven't even watched the last episode yet because I'm like, I don't want this to be over. I have that way about shows, even though I've already seen the most tragic part. Someone said, could find your Italian lover in Buenos Aires. I'm coming. Let me tell you, I'm gonna travel more in 2023. I just never want to leave Mexico City. Like, I've never loved a place so much that it's really hard for me to leave. But I'm gonna find my Italian lover in Buenos Aires. Okay. You seem very healthy. Do you get this? How did you get to this stage? What is your advice to someone having body issues? Let me tell you. It's been a long journey. I feel like since I watched my mom's relationship with her body and food, so my whole life, it was just a breeding ground for like an insecure, like critical young child, person, and now adult. I would say that like the shift for me, and I know it's not sustainable for everyone, and I've had to be way more flexible with this since moving, but veganism really helped me. Not just veganism, but like learning more about my body and how certain foods are processed within the body, and just really like taking advantage of all those incredible documentaries on Netflix and just learning more about food. And in combination with veganism, that's kind of just how I healed and I don't even want to say healed because my relationship with food can still be tough at times, but it was just through like, okay, I'm going to learn about this thing so I know how to fuel my body in the best way possible. And I was really like captivated by what I learned about veganism and plant-based living. And so I would say like, put on some really like, I really loved Fed Up. Fed Up was more about sugar. And Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, he does like a really intense, like, I want to say he goes on a juice cleanse for 3 months. But those are the first kind of ones I started dabbling in. And then from there, I would just watch them. And once you learn about nutrition, and like, at least for me, it was kind of hard for me to go back to my old eating patterns because I had all this knowledge. And I think the biggest misconception is that eating healthy has to be nasty, and it's not true. Like, you can make healthy food that's delicious, and then eventually your taste buds and everything just start to change. Like, I don't crave the stuff that I ate as a kid. Hot Pocket head over here, like Hot Pockets, ramen, fast food, like. And also my parents were just doing the best they could with the resources that they had and the knowledge and education about food that they had. So I don't blame them for that. But now I have different knowledge about food. And so I can share that with, the next generation of no kids that I will have just with my community. I know someone said, Your Spanish will improve tenfold if you try it, and you'll also get more native Spanish speaking viewers. That's like the real thing. I would love a more like Spanish speaking. I mean, I love my entire audience, but like Spanish speaking viewers, I think that would motivate me because I would love to be able to communicate to them. But that starts with making the videos. I'm gonna do a video in Spanish before the end of January. Right now, my focus is a podcast, but I'm putting this right here. One fully Spanish speaking video before the end of January. Okay? I promise. Okay. I'm going to, okay. How do you feel about this year ending soon? I feel like this, with each year that passes, it just gets faster and faster. And I'm like, we were just in the new year, or we were just in January. But I'm grateful to see another year. I'm grateful for 2023. I'm grateful to be starting the year on my own terms. But it's been a tough year for everyone, like the world. So I think a fresh start is definitely necessary. What were your life-changing habits, game changers? This is a really good question. Ambitious Panda's coming through with the questions. Okay, I'm gonna share this and then what else do I have here? Well, I guess I already talked about that. Oh, okay. I'm gonna share this answer and then I'm gonna would love to get some updates or some feedback from you guys on a couple other things, and then I'll go back into questions. This year I read Atomic Habits, and I would say like the main habit that comes to mind, well, one, for me, working out in the morning is always a really good habit because I think it starts your day off on this healthy foot. It impacts the way you eat, your energy for the rest of the day. And yeah, and it's like for me, it's not going to happen if it doesn't happen in the morning. And I think a lot of people feel that way because you have these long work days. And so working out in the morning is just like, I think it's more likely to happen then. Another habit that I started implementing like a couple months ago, leaving my cell phone on that table and not taking it into the bedroom. Best sleep of my life. I'm a scroller, TikTok addict. Like, will avoid going to bed at all costs, but when the phone's not in the room, I knock out sleep. Before you fix your eating, exercising, you need to fix your sleep. That is like the foundation of like everything. And having that habit of not taking my phone into the room has been a game changer, changed my life. And then the last thing from Atomic Habits, I said this, but then I didn't say what I learned from Atomic Habits, was habit stacking. Attaching a habit that you want to build onto something you already do. I'm trying to build this habit of meditating. And so I do it every day when I come back. I haven't been because I haven't been going to the gym because I've been healing from the flu, but I come back from the gym and I sit there and I meditate. I know that I'm going to walk through that door. I know that I'm going to come back from the gym. And so I attach meditation to that. And then also just like something else I learned in that book. It's like you need to make your good habits that you're trying to build easy for you to do and your bad habits slightly more difficult. So like that's why leaving the phone outside the room really works because I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night and go get it. I made it a little more difficult for myself and it was done. And like if you're trying to build the habit of making a meal every morning, like having all of your ingredients chopped up or like having all the dishes done so that it's easy for you to get into cooking, that is going to make a big difference. We just want to do the easy thing. Humans, like you will be very shocked to realize how easy it is for you to like eat healthier if you like have the meal already made, you know? That's like the amazing thing about leftovers is you don't have to think about it. Like that's why meal prep really does work because if you make the habits you're trying to build easier, you will do them. So those are my changing habits. Hi, Lana, Lana Nicole. I will definitely, the Spanish videos are coming, girl. They're coming. You guys are motivating me. Now that I know that you'd want to see them, that's all I needed to know. Mexican habits that you have observed and picked up since you've been living there. Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I would say, like, overall, people are so good at just like enjoying life here. It's not all about hustle and work and how can I do this and that and like check this off my checklist. Like, people are really kicking it back, maxing and relaxing, messing up the lyric, but they're just enjoying life. And that is something that I have picked up on, maybe a little too much. I've been enjoying life a little too much, but like, yeah, just the ability to be more in the moment and not make everything about work and not ask people what they do for work is a habit that I've picked up on. And I'm really grateful for that. Um, okay. Did you love um, did you love Mexico City right away? Did you expect to love it that much? I've just moved to Nairobi. It was a dream of mine, but I'm still adjusting. Um, did I love Mexico City right away? I like I don't feel like I really knew I loved it here. I'm not gonna lie, yes. But I just loved being in a new place, being in a place where I like had the ability to make new friends. I think I would have felt that way, like moving to any place. And then over time, I started to learn more about the city and I was like, oh, I really love it here. But I think I just loved being in a new place. And so like the fact that you're still adjusting, I think is so, so normal. When I first, I think this probably is a better question because I didn't, like I mentioned, I moved to Playa before I moved to Mexico City, Playa del Carmen. I lived there for 2 months. And I mean, that was really hard because the weather is so different. Like 100 degrees, humid all the time. But again, I was just so happy to be in a new place and be by the water that I did immediately love it. But it was an adjustment for sure. Like, I realized I couldn't really be outside during the day. My skin completely changed. I knew two people, but like it was pretty much on my own. So it was definitely an adjustment. And I think that's, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, we all go through this period when we move to a new place. Doesn't mean that you don't love the place. You just like you're figuring it out. And I'm happy for you. Congratulations on taking the step to move to a new country. Like, wow. Well, yeah, new city. I don't know if you are from Kenya, but congratulations on taking the step to move to a new place. Um, will you ever do a meetup? Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I just don't know my friends in here. And she goes, hi, Jen. Will I ever do a meetup? I would love to do a meetup. If you guys want me to do a meetup, I've been thinking about trying to like pull a group together in Mexico City, maybe like a dinner or something. I just didn't I just didn't think people wanted that. But if you guys want that, absolutely. And I will definitely do one in London. Okay, hello. Okay, have you been to Guadalajara? What is your second favorite city in Mexico? Ooh, haven't been to Guadalajara. My grandpa's wife is in Jalisco. I need to visit her. I don't know if she's still here. She didn't send me her dates or anything. But if I go to visit her, I will go to Guadalajara. My favorite city, okay, second favorite city. Okay, beach town, Holbox, 100%. So beautiful, so calm, chill. I loved, that's the favorite beach that I've been to. Non-beach, Tasco. I loved it. It was so beautiful. It looks like Italy in Mexico. And people were so kind to me. My taxi driver that picked me up from the bus station was like, I also do tours. The next day, I just rode around with him for like 7 hours looking at the whole city. He took me to every little site. He took me to like a silver making studio, and then I met someone there. The guy that gave me the tour in the silver making studio, he invited me to go have drinks with his friends. I didn't go because I had to leave. My bus was super early. I had a super early bus the next day, but like it was the first time I had solo traveled in a while. It was like a couple months ago. Loved it. No one spoke any English, which I really loved. I need to be challenged in that way. I can't hear any English. I need this Spanish to be working. And so 10 out of 10 would vote Tasco. And there's so many other pueblitos and things that I need to visit next year, but I had such a good time. Oh, it was beautiful. I have a highlight on my Instagram and I did a video on it. Please go look at that beautiful town. Yeah, the environmental adjustment is huge when you move to a different place, like getting used to weather. Mexico City is super high up, the altitude, like there are a lot of different adjustments. So that was like a big part. So like I said, don't be too tough on yourself if you feel like you're still adjusting. Can you tell me when your podcast is? This is perfect because we transition to the updates. My podcast is premiering January 1st, 2023. It will be on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and those are the only 3 places that I have prioritized in my mind. But if I find more that I think are worth it, I will upload them there. The name is We're Going to Get Through This. And I'm really excited to share it with you. It's really like a soul project. And I'm working with friends on the design and the music, and I think it's just going to come together really beautifully. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. I'm still thinking about if I want to like upload a video version on my channel or just keep it strictly audio so I can just focus on the audio and not editing the video. But yes. And then Misako and Mexico will be coming back in January. I am in a filmmaking program on this, but I really am envisioning like a much version of this series in my head. And I've been watching the past couple of days, taking notes on like what other filmmakers do that I really like. And I want to make just like this beautiful series for you guys. So the wait will be worth it. And then down the line, or not even down the line, but I just want to like revive my Black expat living in, like I did a Playa del Carmen episode. That's the only one I ever did. I want to revive that series because I've met so many more Black people living here since I've moved, and I think it would be a really good perspective. And I want to do that in like a documentary style. So that's coming too. Okay. I'm going to do a meetup. I'm going to plan one, Madrid or Mexico. Or SoCal. We're going to go on a world tour. We're going to go on a world tour, and it's going to be great. But I'm like super happy to see that you guys want to do meetups. I'm just like, if y'all want it. I mean, if you know me, if you've met me through like Instagram and stuff, I'm like not afraid to meet up with anyone. If you send me a message and I see it, because I don't always check that box, the like extra box, 20, like the request box. But if I see your message, I will meet up with you. And sometimes it takes me a minute to see the message and then you're already gone. But I love meeting people from around the world, making new friends. You moved from Canada. What part of Canada? I used to spend a lot of time in Toronto. I love Canada. It's so nice, so beautiful. Your public transportation system is A1. A lot of my friends' favorite cities, like I would say Damon would say this, and also my friend Nasir, like they say Montreal is like one of their favorite cities in the world. I've been meaning to get there. I just gotta get my French up. Oh my God. Angelique said Mac Does It is doing a makeup trip to Japan. A meetup, not makeup. I will absolutely do a meetup in Japan. I just have to build my audience there. Also, Mac Does It. I'm so happy to see him doing so well. He's someone that I've met through like all the work I did behind the scenes with YouTube and other creators. And he has always been so nice to me. He remembers me, which seems like a little thing, but like I just have met so many people who are like, oh, and I'm like, I've met you like 10 times. But he always remembers me. I saw him at VidCon. He was like, oh my God, I didn't expect to see you here. And it just makes me feel good because I feel like a lot of my job before I was just running around and like it just felt nice to be seen. And yeah, so I'm so happy for all of his success. Where do I get my hair done in Mexico? I get my hair done. I just got a notification for Damon's video. So his course is out now by this woman named Nichteka. I'm pulling up her Instagram. If you're ever here, it's braids_n_makeup. She's been hooking me up since I moved here. I put a lot of people on. She braids my hair with with her friend, and she just and she looks like knows someone who does dreads. But anyways, she does my hair, and but I bring the hair from LA. They don't sell the like Kankaloin hair here that I use. So every time I go to LA, I bring like a few packs back, and I have just like that bottom drawer is just filled with braiding hair. Oh my gosh, so you're from Montreal. I need to get there. I'll have to hit you up for some recommendations, Simi. Okay. Oh, Mellow Vibe said I was able to get by without French. Most things are in both French and English, plus knowing Spanish, I can figure out. Okay, this is good. Hi, Anna. Also, I wanted to say I haven't responded to this comment, but I read it, and you left a really beautiful comment under my video about just like when you're a tourist, you are more vulnerable, and so take that into account. I believe this comment was from you. Am I crazy? But anyways, I think it was from you. Maybe it wasn't, but I thought it was really good. And I need to go back and like pin it because I think it's a great comment. Okay. And we've been on live for an hour. That just flew by. I love this. I'm going to make this a weekly thing if you guys enjoyed it as well. But before I go, I just wanted to give you guys a moment to share anything that you'd like to see from me. In addition to the Spanish videos, I have that noted. And what would you like to see improve? The main reason I wanted to do this was to get your feedback. So if you have any content requests, things you'd like to see improve, references, channels that you really like that you think I could learn from, please leave them in the chat. I'm gonna write them down. And yeah. What are your tips for making new friends, moving to a new place? How did you make friends? I mean, I made a lot of friends through friends of friends, like people introducing me to other people. I made a lot of friends through the internet. And I made a lot of friends from just like going out and being present in places. And if I met someone that I really like connected with, being honest with them and like letting them know, like, I would love to see you again. I would love to like get a coffee. I would say Mexico City is one of the easiest places to make friends because a lot of people are here looking for the same thing. You know, this is a place where a lot of people are moving through, and people are looking for good connections. And so people really stick to their word here. But my advice to you would be like well, it depends on what you like. I really like gyms and stuff like that. So like joining a studio for me would be a great way. But if you like dancing, if you like ceramics, like find your community or find the places in the city that you like and find your community through there. And don't be afraid to let people know that you're looking for friends. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. And then when you meet people's friends, like be present with them because maybe those will become your friends, and you know, so that's my advice. Oh, thank you. Anna said, do whatever you want. We're happy to watch. Oh, okay. I will definitely do more lives. Vegan food tour. Jen, you got it. Vegan food tour. I've eaten at like, I would say, almost all the vegan places near me in this city. And so I should do that. I just have such a fear of like filming inside places where there are other people. But if I go early, then because I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable on camera. But if I go early, I can avoid that. Breakfast, a vegan breakfast tour. What do I plan to discuss on my podcast? Basically, I am going to be having my friends on discussing, sorry, I was reading another comment, discussing like different things that they have conquered. So that, like I said, the podcast is called We're Going to Get Through This, and I want to have my friends on to discuss different things that they've like made it to the other side of and how they did it and like what they learned, and in hopes that someone who's going through something similar will hear it and feel motivated and be able to learn something from the podcast. So it's just going to be like different challenges and how we got through it. And I'm calling it We're Going to Get Through This because I want people listening to feel like and to know we are in this together. We're going to get through this. You're not alone. Something Oprah said a while ago that always stuck with me was like, there's not a single emotion or experience that you've had that another human being has not experienced. And she's right. I think a lot of times when we're suffering and struggling, we feel like, oh my God, no one has ever like felt this before. No one will ever understand what I'm going through. And it's just not the case. And I want my podcast to show that you're not alone and we're going to get through this. Spanish videos. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm sorry, I just got a text from David because I kicked him out for my live. I'm so happy that you guys are looking forward to the podcast. I put a short out yesterday where I was like, the biggest hurdle that I'm having right now is believing that like people want this. And so all of this positive feedback is really motivating me. And thank you. I think it's going to be really special. I think I don't want to make it too dark and too heavy, but I do think that it's necessary. And I know that at one point I needed it, so I'm sure there's someone who's going to need it when I put it out there. So yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. Thank you for saying that, Carmen. She said, plus, can't wait for the podcast. I love to hear ordinary stories. There's so much richness in those. Like, I'm just going to be having people that I love on, people that I think like have beautiful things to say. It's not like going to be a super glamorous podcast. And I've learned so much from the friendships and the people I surround myself with. So I know that you guys can as well. And so, yeah, I'm just keeping it real and raw, y'all. I need you as my life coach. I need a life coach. I promise this big oversized blazer is the most put together thing about me. I'm just a neurodivergent queen. Struggling to get organized and motivate myself and read more than one paragraph at a time. But Angelique is a life coach. So oh my God, this is what I mean. I need to like close all my tabs. I get so distracted. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this first ever live stream. I can't wait to do this again. And I really hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging with me. And I'll see you next week. Besitos. And thank you for being here. Yes, Anna. Bye, y'all.